Hello, and thank you for joining our Fireside chats at the European Cardano community. I am Marcus, one of the core team members, and if you like what we are doing, please consider supporting our individual projects. At time of this recording, these are Davide's Rookies Game, Ricardo's Web3 user group, or delegating to my Cardano stake pool with the ticker birth to support us at Larissa Health. You will find the links to our guests and our projects below the video. Now hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, and enjoy this session.
Hello. Welcome everybody to another edition of our European Fireside Chat / Town Hall. We are very excited today because we have amazing guests and we will drive down on everything related to digital identity. But yes, first I want to welcome everybody. Nice to have you here, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Marcus.
Hello. How are you guys?
Hey, Fayad. Nice.
Yeah. Hey, Derek. David, Andy, Faye. So hey. I will admit Autopilot. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes. I think there is no issue with that. If anybody has something against it, just let us know and we'll ban them.
Perfect. Wonderful. I still have to get used to it, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, but okay. It's a learning curve anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
So let's start, guys. We start reading the same mantra slide that we use also for a global town hall, but this one is more fun because it's written in several different languages, so nobody understands, and we create a lot of confusion. So let's do it. It's very funny. I will start because the first line is Italian. Benvenuti all'esperimento.
Les choses peuvent.
Quebra.
Fehlende Dokumentation.
Derek.
Who's jumping? Derek.
Differ greatly between iterations.
And who's gonna do next? Tim, are you ready?
You are muted. That's why.
Yes. What should I do?
Just read the last line.
Fourth.
Our goal, you like to have. Our goal, provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration.
Exactly.
Perfect.
That was easy.
Yeah.
That's why we just orient, overload, and inspire ourselves here.
Yes. I told you guys that it will be funny and confusing as usual. But we also have another slide with our personal mantra. Marcus, as usual, has the duty to read it because he wrote it once and then is condemned to read it every time forever.
Forever.
And
keep your notes up to date. Try to study or learn something new every day. That's what we're here for. Support and connect with community members for synergies and goals. Again, that's what we're here for. Be inclusive, friendly, and wise with words, even in anger. And I think we have created a wonderful space for that. Share information without destroying dreams, people, or the reputation. Welcome to the ECC Fireside Chat.
Very nice. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. I also want to remind everybody that we keep hosting different X Twitter spaces in several languages in the European Union. We regularly host spaces in Italian, in Greece. We want to start with German. That should be already happened, but it didn't yet. But we are very close for this. And we are already in contact for some French spaces. We would love to have Dutch and other languages. If somebody of you want to host a space, please let us know and we'll make it happen immediately. Another thing that we don't have a slide for it yet because I didn't think about it. Well, it's nice. Yesterday we hosted the first country hub workshop. So those are in live events with regular people that breathe next to us. It was fantastic, guys. We have like a 3 hours event in Bologna, Italy yesterday. It was in a company that is called the Central Academy. They take care of organizing courses, lessons, and events like this one. They were fantastic hosts. We had Matteo from Fluid Tokens talking with us. That was a very good idea because they could attract more people because of the effort with Bitcoin. So that was less intimidating. it was amazing. People really enjoyed it. They asked us to do it again, so it was a great success. If you guys want to host a country hub in your country, you are more than welcome to get in touch with us. There is also a small contribute that is always nice. So please write us a message in our Discord or wherever you want, and we'll make it happen as well. We will have next month a fantastic Greek event. So probably it will be a 2-day event. So if you want to take a small vacation in Greece, in Athens, that will be a fantastic occasion.
And if you have some crazy ideas that we haven't touched yet, just get in touch with us and we will make it happen for you.
Yes. We are very enthusiastic about what we are doing, guys. But yeah, let's start with the meat of the evening, guys. Our fantastic guests. I would like to start with trust over IP.
Today is everything about owning your identity. So I'm
exactly
really, really happy to have that space. And if everybody could just briefly, if it's just briefly, just turn on the camera so we can make a little screenshot and post that on Twitter X. That'll be awesome.
Thank you, Fayed.
Take it away, Darren. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Marcus. Let me just get my screen rigged up here. I've got a short presentation. I'm going to, whoops, someone else is sharing.
I can stop my share. Can you give the permission, Marcus?
Of course.
There we go. So I just want to, I'm coming to you from a couple of different angles. One is I am a chair of the Tech Stack Working Group over at Trust Over IP Foundation. Trust Over IP is all about how do we create digital trust on two fronts, on technology, but also governance. Because without the two of them, you really cannot get to trust. You can technology, and those of us in the blockchain ledger world often lean a little bit too hard on technology and run into governance problems. You need the two of them, and I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the capabilities here. Another dimension I'm coming from is for quite some time I was advising IO on what is now Itala Prism, also known as Hyperledger Identus, specifically Itala Prism 2.0 stream. I was not involved in the 1.x stream and was involved in the kind of, hey, don't do that to that stream. Where, I mean, IOG, as one of my clients, was looking at how do they create and embed identity appropriately into the decentralized world. And then third, the piece I'm talking to you about specifically is this thing called the Trust Registry Protocol. So I'm going to just go through a few slides here, and then we'll open up sort of the floor to questions or comments. But I wanted to go through and say, you know, this is part of this presentation actually was done at ICANN 79. Those who don't know what ICANN is, they're the ones in charge of the domain names of the world. Twice a year they meet, and we presented all of this in depth for an hour and 20 minutes. So I'll do about an hour and 20 minutes right now. I'm kidding. I'll do that about 7 minutes. But we actually know that they agree that this is the problem, that trust on the internet has been dropping radically. It's kind of funny when you look at August 2023, we talked about, you know, hey, people are doing next scam wave in the future. And they're kind of talking in this article about the far future about deepfake video calls. It didn't take even 6 months for someone to get ripped off for 25 million. You know, someone was, you know, basically deepfake the CFO. Yes, there was insiders involved. But then there's also the ability to buy fake driver's licenses. That's going to come in quickly to the presentation. I'm going to speak to this tiny thing about the trust triangle. If you've never done decentralized identity, this is kind of not overly advanced, but I'm going to rip through it fast. We can talk about where you can find other resources to learn more. And actually, Itala Prism Hyperledger Identus is a really good learner. The Itala book that they created, the Foundations of Identity, which is on book.io, is a fantastic resource. I was thoroughly impressed when I saw that. But here's the problem, is that on a tech basis, cryptographers and tech folks say that this thing, and I'm going to go through the process, these credentials, these verifiable credentials are sufficient for digital trust, but it's not. Here's how this works. So as an issuer, I have this thing called a public DID, a decentralized identifier. Identifiers, these DIDs do two things. They allow me for you to find out my public key, and I control my private key, so crypto-wise. But they also allow me to communicate addressing, so I can communicate and find out, how do I talk to you? But this public DID is used, whoops, my slides are borked. So I have this public DID, and what I do when I offer you, say, a driver's license, for example, the DMV, whomever the government authority is going to sign their side of it. As the holder, I'm going to sign my side as well. Okay. Later, that becomes important, and I'll explain why, but they give me a verifiable credential. Later, when I want to use my driver's license to present it to a law enforcement officer because I got pulled over, because I want to prove my age, because I'm renting a car, whatever the reason is, the verifier, the relying party, is going to say, hey, listen, I would like to see proof of your driver's license. Cryptographically, I can tell them the following. Hey, here's the data. I signed it, and I signed it with this key, which shows I still have control over this thing. It's been signed by the issuer. The data have not been tampered with nor changed. And here's the answer to the question you asked, which is great. And the verifier knows that they can trust the issuer. But can they? Does the verifier know that that driver's license is real? That was actually the Department of Motor Vehicles? Do we know, for example, that it was the Hawaii DMV that issued McLovin the driver's license? Here's the hint. It wasn't. This is where governance really comes in. We also want to know, hey, should I present that license, my full driver's license, to the law enforcement officer? Probably a good idea if they've pulled you over. Should I present my full driver's license, which includes my home address, my eye color, weight, all of this information I don't want to share, with the bouncer at a bar? I'm 6'3", 190 whatever centimeters. I don't care. My little wife, she cares very much. But how do we deal with that problem? Whoops, I've gone the wrong direction. Sorry. The answer to how we get to the answer to solving this problem is really about governance. It's about having a governance framework that says, hey, here are the rules of the road in this particular ecosystem. So in the DMV world, it may say, hey, listen, if you're law enforcement, you have the right and expectation of asking for a full driver's license. If you're asking for age and majority for drinking, you can only ask for the blurry picture and a check mark that says over 21 or over 18, whatever age is. And that really is how the governance will manage who are the valid issuers, who are the valid verifiers. This is what that looks like, and this is what a trust registry is. Basically, that public DID that I have for the issuer, the verifier has one too. But those are listed in the trust registry saying, hey, these are the Department of Motor Vehicles, the issuers of driver's license in Canada, United States, the EU, and the UK. You just have a number of DIDs that are managed somewhere. Somebody's maintaining that list. And if we want to, we also do the same thing for who's allowed to ask for what of that driver's license type of thing. So in this case, the verifier being presented the McLovin driver's license would confirm that the issuer is authoritative. That would fail. Cryptographically, everything was good. The DID signed the thing, I presented the license, everything looked great. But when I went to say, and was that the Hawaii DMV, I got a no, which shows to me that it's not real. Same thing I can do on the holder. Before I present my license to the law enforcement officer or the restaurant, I can ask, is this verifier in the list? These trust registries and this protocol is about answering one single question. There's other things in the trust registry protocol you can get into, but really on a coding basis and a business basis, I want to know, is entity X authorized to do Y under governance framework Z? So is this issuer a valid driver's license issuer under the North America driver's license compact? I made that thing up. But really what it translates to is, when I'm dealing with you, are you who you say you are? Which in this decentralized world is often a very hard question to ask. The Trust Registry Protocol version 2 is a couple links here. I'm going to share this, a PDF of this, but also share the links in the chat when I'm done. It is a Swagger Open API spec-based protocol. There can and will be other protocols and approaches. Right now, we focused on getting a Swagger out. There could easily be a DIDCOM protocol. Somebody has to write that. We focused on the Swagger because anybody can hit an API. One thing to consider is when you're running this API is who is running the Trust Registry Protocol API. One of the things you need to consider is if I'm asking about driver's licenses and the government is running this trust registry and is monitoring the traffic, that's a surveillance problem, a phone home problem. But you could run the same thing yourself. It could be part of your governance framework that anybody running the trust registry must not do surveillance badness. But that's part of the governance framework requirements. This is one of those links there is to the actual specification itself. The specification is now in what we call implementer's draft, meaning it's ready and being implemented in multiple trust registries, multiple systems of record really is what a trust registry is. And we're getting feedback from those folks. I wanted to be clear that a trust registry protocol, the trust registry protocol is not itself a trust registry. When I use the driver's license example, it's easy to say, hey, you already have these. These already exist. Anyone issuing an SSI, a credential-based driver's license, they already exist. We need to integrate into their systems. That's what the trust registry protocol is about, is how do I talk to various different systems? It is not itself the system of record. It makes accessing the system of record simple and consistent. There's more information. Again, I'll share this link. This is based on the report that I wrote along with CIRA. CIRA is a not-for-profit in Canada that manages the .ca domain name. They also provide software that manages Ireland, New Zealand, and numerous other things. But we basically built this report out that talks about how we're finally understanding how the technical trust, that crypto stuff, is blending with the governance side to actually make it actually really trustable. The key takeaway on that one, again, read the report, is about the confidentiality, making sure that stuff is protected. Authenticity, are you who you say you are, and are you doing the thing you're authorized to do? That's the key, as well as privacy. That's it for me for now. I'd love to take any questions.
Amazing presentation, thank you. If you can share the links, we'll make sure to add also to the YouTube video.
Perfect.
I had to find the button. You once made a very, very bold, very bold claim. Say if somebody claims to have solved interoperability, then I don't know the exact word, but
I probably said they're wrong.
Yeah.
This is the especially in the decentralized identity realm, people talk about interoperability being the technical specification. That's an important part, but if you don't understand the business and legal impacts of sharing information, you're not interoperable in any way, shape, or form. Other than bits and bytes are flying, but if you don't understand what those bits and bytes are, what the obligations are when you issue something, are you taking on liability? When you consume something and things go badly wrong, what is the liability of the party who provided you information? Then you don't really understand interoperability. All you're talking about is data payloads. And trust registries are part of that. If you're talking to the wrong trust registry because you don't know what you're talking about, then good luck.
But would you, for those people who say now, okay, trust registry is the first time that I've heard it now, and then they building some use cases and they think, okay, this is something really cool. Would you recommend any project building out a trust registry if they're specialized in a certain topic? Or would you say find peers and then connect together and build one together, for example? Or would you say, no, this is more a governmental thing, keep it to the big guys?
No, I would definitely, to me, any project that's doing what I would call, real business, meaning that there's actual value being exchanged, probably already has something that we could call a trust registry. they may call it a config file. Like, hey, here are the config file of the, in Cardano, the addresses that we'll support. That, my friends, is the trust registry. It's just, it can be trivial. Who maintains it and how that's maintained. The governance and the operations could be very complex. We need an M of N signature to update the config file, whatnot. At the end of the day, your end users, the developers, want to be able to ask, is this address good for that? Yes or no?
Cool. Thank
So
you.
I would, the odds of you not having a trust registry or quickly, the government of British Columbia, because they're a government, are one of the harder groups to convince about this because they just do things by fiat. Talking with them, though, they're like, we don't need a trust registry because we're the government. They said, what about other government? Go, well, until we need a trust registry. And I'm like, okay. And tell me more. They're like, and then we really, really need one. Because you need to know, is that the right party?
Yeah.
And config files are fine. But the minute the config files aren't fine, you've just built a trust registry.
And the biggest hurdle that you see currently building a trust registry is?
The biggest hurdle to me is people not realizing that they already have one in some way. Like we did this in the U.S. Credit Union's Member Pass project. We didn't know what it was. We literally had a config file because the U.S. Credit Union group that we were part of, there's like, we know all of the CEOs and all of the credit unions. And then we didn't. The small credit union came in. No one knew the name of it. No one knew who the CEO was. We had to go do homework to say, is this a real credit union? Should we allow them to get into our config file? And we had to do a bunch of work on that, but then adding them was really, really easy. But you likely, if you think you have to build one from scratch, you may not understand your business as well as you think you do. Because it's all too common for people to try to solve all of the problems when another ecosystem may already have solved most of your problems. You just think of your problems.
Do you see these things currently between different blockchains a lot? Like who try to build things like that? I mean,
I'll give you
yeah.
I can give you an example of one project, or actually it's 4 ecosystems that are now talking to each other. They're on different platforms. So in the Europe, you have the digital product passport needs for battery powered vehicles, the EVs, coming into effect. The regulation is there. They're already working through, I believe some of these solutions are anchoring down to an EBC based solution. Globally speaking, on the mining basis, there's an Hyperledger Indy based, it's actually based on Sovereign. 13 countries are working to say, hey, listen, we have mining companies in our countries that are operating, they have facilities, and they fill in various different reports based on the UN SDGs, water usage, First Nation, indigenous rights, carbon footprint, name it all. All of these reports they issue. That's anchored down to Sovereign. In British Columbia, they're now giving mining facilities BC Mines Act permits in credential form anchored to its own network. It's another Indy network that's hosted by, it's only for Canadian government. It's called Candy. So that's 2 Indy networks. EBC is a different one. 4th initiative is the UN. I can't remember the name of it, the UN Transparency Initiative, which has become aware of all of these 3. All 3 were developed independently, by the way. They weren't developed as a chain, but they're now linking together because they realized, oh my God, they solved the business problem. Here's the business problem. Take the nickel in a battery pack entering the European Union. I, in my digital product passport, have to be able to point back to say, where did that nickel come from? If it came from a mine in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I have to prove that it was a good mine, I may have to deploy my own audit team at the cost of millions of dollars a year. Or, no, that nickel came from a British Columbia Mines Act facility, which is already vetted, and my net cost is 0. Those ecosystems never knew of each other before, but they're tying together.
Okay, cool. Tim and Faye, do you have questions? I mean, you're hyperactive, and also Esteban, you're hyperactive in the space.
I just can listen to one of the godfathers of sovereign identity. I had some, I think, 2 or 3 calls we have with the IamX team back in the days with Daryl.
Yep.
And yeah, I can listen and be quiet because the master is talking, So I don't have these deep understanding, yes, but I would not be able to make such a nice presentation as I'm more focused on the business side of using identity solutions. So, but I love it, Daryl. Again, brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tim.
I've got one question here for you, Daryl. Have you had, or are you aware of any like research or studies or anything you're familiar with of kind of looking at, so the trust registry here, right, builds a it's in the technical trust, right, where that's kind of where this sits, and how maybe that relays into some human trust or some of the end user side of things, and if in any of the projects that you were kind of talking about, like because I could see, hey, this is here, right, but maybe the users don't, like, maybe the governance people know, but do the users themselves know, or do they care? And maybe it's in a case by case, where that can change, but that's kind of a long loaded question there, so you can take whatever parts you want.
There's a couple things
ahead.
there I would say. One is that part of the role of a trust registry is to actually bridge the technical and the human trust. So that report I linked to in the chat gets into the meat of that. How does it? Because if you look at a trust registry it's basically the instantiation of the governance. For example, there's already a group in the United States called AMVA. I can't remember what it stands for, but they manage all of the Department of Motor Vehicle driver's license issuers. They have all of the information. Well, so when you look at the mobile driver's license, they already have the process that says, hey, you changed your keys. Great. Let's go and make sure the keys are updated. What they don't have is a very easy way to access their information, but that is the governance side. The report goes into the how does one take the technical trust and the human trust, which they play with each other. Like, you have to have really good technical trust and layer the human trust on top.
Right.
Otherwise, you're done. You can't go any further. On the usability side, it's really hard to answer like the following question: how is my wallet going to know that I should share my full driver's license with the police officer who pulled me over? Because the business question is in some countries, the first question is, are they really a police officer? How do I answer that? But you can imagine your app down the road saying, hey, we already subscribe to all of the mission critical trust registries. We just checked them out. That is a police officer. We suggest you share your driver's license, yes or no. Or, we don't know who the hell this is. You may be in danger. Would you like to press a button and call the police? Type of thing. But that's a usability thing that's going to have to come down the road, because before we got to this point, everyone thought they knew who they were dealing with. And they thought they were correct. But we know that that's really not so true. Plus, as digital, it's scaling so fast, we just have no clue.
Gotcha.
Does that help, Andy?
Yeah, yes, it does. I've started talking with the Content Authenticity Initiative and the Creator Assertions Working Group and stuff, and so I'm foreseeing some of these kinds of similar questions, topics of, okay, we're starting to build the tech trust in there, or the infrastructure is kind of getting into place now. How do we, those exact questions? How does our wallet or our browser, how does it know? How does it relay that information to us? So I kind of start to see some of these questions after, with the implementers, excuse me, the implementers draft kind of being out, and starting to add in the, that human side of how do I interact with this, on my phone kind of thing.
Exactly.
So.
Very, very cool. Shall we hop on and to Tim and Faye and Daryl, if you have comments, we would be very, very happy. I don't know about your schedule. I know you're usually very tight with the bookings.
I'll be here for the next little bit, and I'm excited to see Hyperledger Identus and Faye. That's awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you
Let me
so
know
much.
which slide I have to put on because I'm confused.
Yeah,
For everybody who's watching or listening to this chat, Trust over IP is still open to members, I believe. So if you're
Totally.
you're building, if you are interested in the space at all, head over to the website. The link is down below, or with the new design of YouTube is on the right or on the left, on the top, I don't know. And join. It's a really friendly group with a lot of topics. Almost every day you find something. And you can talk to Daryl, you can talk to Ander, you can talk to Drummond, all those great people who are really, really experienced in that space and trying to work something out with you guys. So really appreciate you being here.
It would be great, Daryl, if you offer a startup fee. We have the big problem as a smaller company. For us, the Open Wallet Foundation is something very important for driving the business. From the Linux Foundation, it's a department, and for us, you have to be there, and then you don't have money to operate anymore. That's a little bit of a problem.
Trust over IP. Trust over IP. I was one of the founding and funding steering committee members, but I am now a free contributing member. So the Trust over IP at least has a free tier. We'd be happy to get information. I'm gonna put the executive director's email in the chat because it's totally free to join. Obviously, it appreciates any financial support, but it's the people that matter most.
Thanks. I didn't know that.
So see you there next. Wonderful.
Yes, for sure. I would send our IT there. I have not the knowledge about that.
It's a very friendly group. Faye, take it away. Or Esteban, I don't know who's gonna start up.
Yeah, so I brought Esteban and David with some technical backup support as of some point. Please excuse me, I'm a little bit sick at the moment. I've got a terrible chest infection, a little bit of a blocked nose. But nice to see you, Daryl. I think the last time I reached out to Daryl, I told him I miss him over X or Twitter, and he told me provide me with some sort of identification to prove that it's actually you. No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, so Hyperledger Identus. It's come a long, long way. So maybe I should start with the origin story. It's obviously born out of a Web3 world, Hyperledger Identus, which was formerly known as the Open Enterprise Agent, and I think before that known as the Thaler Prism, was born at input-output, and we then contributed that code over to Hyperledger. So the intention behind was to create a two-way bridge between real-world digital identity and Web3 ecosystems, and of course, enable developers to get the best of both worlds. So while building that, our foundation, what our thinking behind that was it needs to be easy to use, number one, appropriate across systems, languages, and use cases. It needs to be easy to maintain over time, definitely peer-reviewed and secured. It needs to be scalable across distributed systems, applied research and development. And then last, but I think it's the most important point, it needs to be for the community, by the community, and with the community. And just on that point, a special shout out to John. I see you here. John's from CSign. They built some really cool applications, a really cool application using our tech. So I don't have a slide on this, but how familiar are you guys with the toy technology stack versus the governance stack next to one another?
Faye?
Yeah.
Do you still feel comfortable to turn on the video? Or is it bad?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, man.
You are a very nice boy, so let's show your face.
I could just stop you. No, what's the other way around? If you talk and I just move my lip sync, is that lip sync? Yeah.
Yeah, that technically could work. So, So going back to the technology stack with TOIP. So maybe just to give you guys some insight as to what Hyperledger Identus is. If you guys have a look at, I'm sure you guys will be able to see it if you Google TOIP technology stack and governance stack next to one another. Is layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4. So Identus is basically layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3 on the technology stack side of things. So that's your public utilities, your peer-to-peer communication, and your trust task protocols. So one of the components that I think that we started out with was the Open Enterprise Agent, now known as Identus Cloud Agent, aims to offer an open source suite of decentralized identity products, starting with a multi-tenant Scala-based cloud agent with an easy-to-use REST API. And that then got up. We then decided to add obviously the TypeScript SDK, the Swift SDK, and the KMM SDK. These are all wallet-based SDKs, and a dedicated Scala-based mediator. And what's cool about, I suppose, our solution is it supports a number of key standards across W3C. So the methods that we support is DID Prism and DID Peer, credential formats are JWT, BC, and non-creds. I think the non-creds are in at the moment, Esteban, if I'm not mistaken. Is it still coming?
Yeah, it's still being finished.
Okay, there you go. And then in order to bridge ecosystems and connect communities, we know that Web3 communities have been rooted in privacy and self-management to build new and more equitable systems for society. And especially SSI communities have been building solutions for complementary set of problems, like identity, of course, and carry a deep understanding of real-world issues like governance, as Daryl mentioned, and offline usage, etc. So combined, our entire tech stack, they could offer the next step of building the next generation of software-defined trust infrastructure. So you might be asking yourself, what is it that digital identity can bring to Web3? What is it that Web3 can bring to digital identity? And what is it that they can jointly bring to the world? I think that's super important when building applications. So I'll go over briefly some of the features and some of the components that Identus has. So there's your cloud agent, which is W3C based and ARIES standard compliant agent written in Scala. Some of the key features of that include REST API, DIDCOM V2 support, W3C compliant DID methods, credential management, JWT and non-creds as previously mentioned, HTTP event notification, Cardano ledger integration, secrets management via HashiCorp Vault, and multi-tenancy support as well. We then have the mediator, which is a cloud-based service designed for communication using DIDCOM V2, if I'm not mistaken, and supports protocols such as basic message 2.0, mediator coordination 2.0 to facilitate logical connections, message encryption, and routing as well. So it's handy for scenarios where edge entities are occasionally online. Another exciting component I think that we've added to Identus is definitely the cryptographic library, the Apollo cryptographic library that enables cryptographic functionality on multiple platforms. So it's built within the Kotlin multi-platform and supports various targets such as JS, iOS, Android, and JVM. Last but not least, there's the Edge Agent SDKs. So there's 3 of them. They intend to facilitate the development of wallet applications across different platforms. I think an awesome application of this, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Socius, but they've just integrated one of our SDKs into the application as well. And each SDK obviously shares core functionalities, such as cryptographic operations, management of your DIDs, handling those verifiable credentials, and supporting DIDCOM V2 messaging for secure peer-to-peer communication. So the Edge Agent SDK or TypeScript SDK is for web-based applications. And then we've got the KMM SDK, which targets Android and JVM-based systems and supports Android APIs level 21 plus and Kotlin 1.9 and JVM 17 plus. And then we've got the last but not least, I think the Edge Agent SDK, which is Swift for Apple platforms, including iOS and macOS. And I think this is something that CSign uses, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just to wrap this up, the continuation of our journey, we will be progressing, I think, more to working in the open. That is part of our roadmap. You guys are welcome to join us on a Tuesday where we have the maintainer and contributor call. Those are more technically focused. And then every alternating Tuesday, we do have a community outreach call, which aims to listen to the community, any issues you guys might have. If you guys want to demo some of the solutions you built, you're welcome to do that as well. I will pop a link in our Discord for our Discord as well, so you guys are welcome to join our Discord and join in the conversation. Thank you.
Good.
Any questions? If it's technical, I'm gonna hand it over to Esteban and David.
Thank you so much for making it up so spontaneous as well, and then for being sick. You did it great. I mean, you did it great anyway, but just wanted to point that out. I should stop giving compliments. What was going wrong? What is your for somebody who's not new to this system and did not understand all the technical terms right now? What is the ideal candidate to build with Atala? What is, oh, sorry, with Identus? What's the ideal company candidate to say, I want to join, I want to build with you guys?
I don't think we discriminate against any particular candidates from wanting to build with us. Traditionally, what we've seen is we've seen a couple of interesting use cases. One of it was document verification. Another one, obviously, is identity verification. We've got a couple of people as part of our community that are looking at issuing or ideally tracking who owns particular pieces of property as well. And I think that was quite cool. But yeah, we welcome any sort of use cases that do want to make use of our technology.
Cool. Andy and Daryl, I don't know, Daryl, do you still have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out a comment that what I have been using, and I've sent a few folks over to the Hyperledger Identus stack. There are two really distinct use cases where I find what Identus has done, and generally speaking, what the overall DIDCOM approach really provides. One is if you need the verifiable credentials capability to issue, then later prove. The other capability, which most people miss because we talk so much. In my example, I talked about a credential, about offering a credential, issuer to holder to verifier. There is just as exciting, if not more powerful, capability of setting up a chat client where I have a public way of reaching out to say, hey, Fayad, I'd like to connect with you. And then I can have a completely private chat with Faye. That's actually where the magic is right there, is that private communication channel is actually, to me, 10 times or more powerful than the credentials themselves. So if I was approaching this as a developer, what I tell people to do is forget the credential example, send me a hello world with a response. I would really recommend trying that.
Cool. Thank you. Andy.
Great. I was just going to add, you had asked, the question, and I think when it comes to like some of the just in general, kind of the self-sovereign identity and credentials kind of ecosystem, like building, like, where is that ecosystem in that, do I have an issuer, a holder, and a verifier? And maybe the issuer and the verifier is the same person. Like, I hand out a credential, that person goes away on vacation, then they come back 2 weeks later and they want to, say that they're themselves again. So what is that kind of like, ecosystem kind of look like? And that's kind of where like it can really shine in there. And I think also, yeah, to Daryl talking about DIDCOM and the communications, that sounds really exciting. I actually, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the Exodus wallet, but I had actually spoken to, I don't know, one of their Twitter reps, and they put in onto their kind of business development like they put in a ticket that said that wallet communications through DIDCOM and Identus was something that people were interested in. And so I spoke to them about getting that in there. Nobody from their biz dev team has actually reached back out to me, but that was just at the beginning of the week. So interesting to see that Daryl liked that idea. So it's interesting to be on the right track, maybe.
I've actually got a question for Daryl, and maybe that will be your opinion on this is, what would you think of a Web2 service like an Onfido or Clio or Jumio acting as a trust registry for issuing a credential? Like, would you be able to then say that those particular Web2 services could be the base of that trust registry? Because they can verify against government records, as an example.
So yes and no. So I've spoken multiple times with groups like Onfido and Jumio, Trulio, the IDVs of the world, the identity verification folks. They generally don't want to take on the liability of saying this is fake. But their customers may be happy to say, I will do that and I will charge 25 cents above what Onfido is doing. And you can use that credential for 90 days and just pay it for it every time. The IDVs try to, if you go look at their agreements, they try to avoid any liability of any form. So it makes them hard to be a trusted issuer when they're saying it's all your fault. It's almost counter to the trust. But there's nothing stopping them from saying, here are the providers. And actually, Trinsic just this week announced some kind of a network like that. I haven't looked into the details of it, but they would have a trust registry that lists all of the official issuers in their network. Does that help?
No, that definitely helps. Thank you.
Awesome.
John, you just said in the chat that you are mixing the credentials, and you have also the chat functionality DIDCOM implemented, or at least as a test, right? How is the development going? Like, how is it the experience as a developer?
It's been great, really. Unfortunately, my partner, who could probably speak more on the technical side, is not able to make it right here, Roberto. But yeah, I mean, I can just talk to you about what's sort of how we're using it. So CSign is an agreement signing platform where you can sign, certify, and verify agreements. So, and that uses people have a multi-sig agreement, and the signers are issued verifiable credentials at the end of that flow. So that's the VC flow that was mentioned. And in the flow that Daryl brought up, when it comes to like encrypted chat over DIDCOM, so we don't have a chat, so to speak, but we do use DIDCOM. And the way we use DIDCOM, so we now have, so when you create an agreement and you invite others to sign that agreement, there's a file upload, right? And you want to obviously share the agreement that everybody else needs to read and then sign, right? And agreements on CSign can be anything. They can be images, they can be movies, it's just a binary file, right? So you might think of it normally as a PDF, but it could be anything. And that file, our goal is to be 100% private, right? And so you talk about how is this file going to be private? So CSign is not only end-to-end encrypted, but when you upload a file, we encrypt that file on the client side, and then it's stored encrypted. And normally, if you were to store the encrypted file somewhere, you would need a decryption key somewhere. And so what we do is we use DIDCOM, right? The thing that Daryl mentioned to be able to do, peer-to-peer encrypted chat. We use DIDCOM to pass the encryption keys to your peer. So that way, the file ends up as an encrypted blob on any server. And when the reader goes to the signer is invited and they go to read that, they are passed the encryption keys peer-to-peer over DIDCOM, that encrypted chat. But the reader doesn't know. They just click download. And when they click download, it magically decrypts, and only the creator and the signers are able to read the agreement. So it ends up being completely private. And if anybody were to look at this file server or anything like that, it would be encrypted and no one would be able to read it. So that's how we're sort of using both of those features together in different ways. And I think Daryl's right. The DIDCOM ability opens up all kinds of really amazing opportunities to be really creative with too. I think there's a lot of power there.
Wonderful. I would bridge to Tim at this point because you're building in a similar space. And did you work with the Hyperledger or Atala stack, or did you build entirely your own thing? You started, or you are also on Cardano, so that would be a big interest of me. How did you solve this?
You have the wrong guy for the technical explanation, 100%. You know, I told you I even don't use GitHub. You know, so but what I can say is, you know, there was a guy, you all know him from the Cardano Foundation, Michiel from Belgium. He was, you know, we met him the first time 2 years ago in Las Vegas. And he was asking us, guys, you do something with KYC, and I have a brilliant idea. Can we sit down? And he asked us, he has the idea to sign contracts, agreements, certifications with a KYC. And yeah, we are going live next week. We have 2 companies waiting for us. So we have, it's Klü and Salto. You know, Klü is a multi-service company in Germany with 80,000 people working for them. And Salto is a Spanish company, Salto Systems. Some people know when you open doors in Hyatt Hotel or Hilton hotels, it's clients from them, that the door opens using a card. And with them, you know, they will buy the system already. So we are very happy to have clients directly when we're online, and we just working on the enterprise edition for them. And I'm not exactly sure, because you are all super coders. You know, my code is, the last code I wrote is 35 years ago, and I had to manually navigate the turtle over the screen. So this is my level of technique. I'm very sorry. Next time, Markus, you have to talk with Dennis. But, you know, for me, it would be very interesting, you know, to stay in touch with John. And I love to do cooperations, you know. And it was really nice that Michiel reached out in our DocuFight. It's his name. He's not coding a lot there because he don't have time, but he's like a shareholder. And yeah, we are very happy that we are growing very fast with DocuFight before we are even online. And we have in Germany another customer next to these 2 big clients, because they spend, you know, like 150,000 euro just for signing documents a year. And with us, we can easily reduce this cost to the half. And we have another customer, which Markus, as a German, might know, the Stadtwerke. It's an infrastructure provider in Germany for electricity, water, and this. And they are it's a government and private mixed companies. And with them, we had already 2 appointments. And we do, you know, they have special documents which should be verified with the people who like to onboard with the Stadtwerke. So we use our KYC solution and have satellites around it. One is AdaMail, you know, perhaps where you can sign an email with the KYC. It's just, you know, it was playing around a little bit. And then we showed some Ethereum friends that you can't create a payment link easily on Ethereum. You can't do any governments with an email on Ethereum. But we found out to do this on Cardano, which is great. And we have like DocuFight around, and the onboarding tool for more or less financial platforms. That's what we use. So in our ecosystem, the KYC is in the middle, and we use it for the other projects in a quite commercial way. We are not as scientific as the others in this call. We are very business driven.
Okay, sorry.
So
Okay, I didn't know that you wanted to end here. So
no, I'm very open for question. Yeah, I thought more it's an interview. Can you see me with the sun? You know, it's the first time we have sun in Germany. Yeah, so I'm happy to sit
like
here.
this is perfect. Like
So
this is
yeah, or perhaps the sun is nicer than me. It can be. Yeah, you can choose.
makes you
Yeah,
holy
please.
cow.
I'm very open for question. You know, I see there's a lot of people have a high knowledge. You know, Kaza, I think we have been in a call 2 years or 3 years ago, I think. And yeah, I'm very happy to inform you what we are doing, but I'm very sorry that I just can inform you from the business side of things, not from the technical side. I didn't know that, and I'm very sorry for that. And I hope it's not too boring what I inform you about here.
Maybe,
but we do, you know, we like to bring really adoption from the business side to Cardano. That's my job. That's where I'm traveling around. And yeah, I'm very happy to have these really big companies. They are hidden champions. So especially Salto is world leading in digital accessment management systems. So in the area of locker, they are we developed something where you can pay per use. You know, it's really new business model we're opening with them. One is, you know, if you have a hospital, it's a very actual case we are just handling. You know, a hospital needs new door handles, so they like to have it, you know, digitally for security reasons, you know, for the laboratorium, but they also need handles for the normal people to enter and leave the hospital. And this is budgeted to much higher than 1 million. And in Germany, the money, like everywhere in the government area, is there's not a lot. There's a lack of finance or liquidity. And now we invented with them together a pay-per-use for a door handle. It sounds a little bit stupid at the beginning, but if you look that a hospital has to pay like more than 1 million directly in one day, you can use their door handles, you know, from the company. So it's a selling argument. Please buy from us because you pay per use. So if a door handle is used 100,000 times a year and you just collect 1 cent, you know, you have a lot of information about the door, how often it opens, and something like this. Yeah, it's kind of a new door open policy. Yeah. No, it's like it's something very interesting, and we won the pitch there. And yeah, this is the part where we work, and soon we have in a hospital a Cardano technology. That's nice.
So how does this work again? I mean, like I'm like the guy who runs like 3 times a day into the hospital now.
Yes, and then the hospital is the contractor. So the hospital doesn't have money. The hospital likes or needs new door handles. So the hospital will pay per use, not you as a user, not you as an end user. It's like a financial tool for Salto to get more clients, because it's a very fair and I think also sustainable way of financing like such a big project.
And Salto is the door handle.
They do the technique behind the handle. The door handle itself, you know, steel plastic, is coming from a German company they called EcoSchulte. But this is just a delivery chain, but we know them all because we had to look at the handles and stuff like this.
Is it then a subscription model, or
no?
Like...
It's kind of a subscription model, but you can't cancel it. You know, it's like you pay the initiative amount in some years. You know, so we are calculating with them about a 6-year endurance, and then the door handles are finally paid. That's what they calculate. You know, they know which doors are used. You know, they see where the maintenance has the highest point. And with the Salto system, they even see it much more detailed. And you have to. It's not like 10 door handles like in a house. You know, it's like a lot of door handles, including, you know, doors in the front that some people can have different access. So if you have, you have you onboard the staff also from the hospital via a KYC, and they have different access rights, and they can delegate this access rights. So a doctor, who is ill, can delegate his access rights to his assistant, or who has to help him. So the assistant can make a KYC with his mobile phone on the fly and gets the access delegated. And this nearly the same we do with Clu. They have armed stuff, and there we also manage the accessment rights, like an IAM system, an identity and access management system. This is what it's, that's the big topic of this. And we are happy to have these two clients.
Wonderful.
Because without them, it would be very tough for us to develop.
So just to reiterate, if I as a hospital would buy 100 or 1,000 door handles, usually
it's 20,000. No? It's more than 20,000, so high price.
Okay. Then these door handles have those chips or the technology inside. That
and you can communicate with your mobile phone with the door handles. Yeah, so it's NFC technology and Bluetooth.
Door handles would basically track the amount of usage, and that's the amount that the hospital would pay against the price of the door handle. So it fills up over time. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
An amount of door handles that never reach that pricing because they've just been used 3 times. Let's say the door handle up on the roof because just the doctor and the nurse are going up there and having a cigarette or something, right?
Yes, you make a mixed calculation that that Salto for sure makes its margin, and it's just to offer. It's like a marketing tool.
Yeah,
it's we call it in German. Very, in German we have the funny word. You will not. It's called Absatzfinanzierung. Yeah. So it's a tool to help people to buy this big project.
Yeah, I understand. Now that makes sense. So in that way, I can steer the maintenance a lot better, and only if a doorknob would basically completely be destroyed, then and not having the usage, then it wouldn't be exchanged in the next cycle, for example, because
it would directly for sure. It has to be functional. It will be exchanged. It's just there is no liquidity in this hospital, and so we had to find a way how to make this deal happen. And for especially a public-private partnership, like a hospital is here in Germany, it's a very useful way to finance this. And blockchain make it accountable because we can exactly tell people, we always write at the end of day a small file on the blockchain, hashed. You don't know which door because it's always dangerous. Perhaps if you see a door is opening very regularly, especially in security business. So this will be camouflaged a little bit, and but at the end of the day, we write on the blockchain what happens this day, how many door handles, which door handle. So this is the use where we use Cardano.
It's a very, very cool use case. I didn't know of that one. Very cool.
Very innovative as well. Very new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have 2 Catalyst fundings running there. With these 2 big companies. We grinded. I called them and visited them 2 years in a row. So it was not easy to get in touch and to tell them blockchain. Blockchain for them was, okay, you're a Bitcoin day trader. Goodbye. See you hopefully never again. And it was, I visited them with flowers, I said, hey, I'm back here. It was like really handle polishing to have been accepted. It was, very nice. And finally a bank helped us, to tell the CEO guys, hey, listen to these. They are not as crazy as it sounds. And 2 years later now, we are happy to sign contracts. And they are involved now in Cardano. They know what it is. They know the techniques. They know what's the difference between a blockchain and a database. They get in touch now. It's the first call tomorrow, I think I have with Frederick from Cardano Foundation. And I will put them in touch because I think the security industry is something very important or very useful for blockchain technology. Most of the projects focus on DeFi in every shadow and every shade, and I think the security industry is a very welcome client for Cardano in the future. So I hope there will be good talks between the C-level and Frederick finally.
I think what you've done here very well is making blockchain a hidden champion in that part. So nobody knows that blockchain is of use. It's just within the day-to-day life, and you don't know it. And that's a smart move. Esteban, John, is there something that you would like to ask Tim that's not too technical, right? Just something where you see, okay, that's similarities, that's how Identus solves things, and yeah, is there something that you have in mind? Because I cannot ask the questions that you want to ask. Not reading
Yeah,
mine.
maybe to to add something to the conversation. Well, really, the thing with the Identus, Hyperledger Identus, is that currently our focus is more in providing the building blocks for the technology. We haven't been too much focus on building solutions or building use cases using the technology. Currently, most of our efforts are on catching up with a bunch of standards that has been developed by the SSI industry. Things like DCOM, things like OID for verifiable credentials, things like anon creds. So most of the things that our team contributes to this space is in the technology. So part of the idea is that we provide the pieces, the toolset, and find people like John Bauer, for example, to come up with the business use case and ideas so they can build on top of that. So yeah, for the case of IamX scenarios, yeah, again, they could use the technology that we offer. They can find other ways to do it because this SSI space really still is in a, even that has been around for quite a while, quite a few years, is still like consolidating. You see different technologies that are similar but different, and you see that people implement sometimes some things using one preferred stack of tech versus the other. So yeah, all these use cases, they can use whatever they are using, or they can use Hyperledger Identus or Hyperledger Various as well. That's another alternative that is around. Or, well, there are other things. There is Polygon ID, for example, that is also in the Web3 space.
I would need to talk to a sales team because we are very open, and for us it's we partner with a lot of Cardano projects. You know, we just took over shares of the Begin wallet to have a commercial identity wallet where we make affiliate marketing, and you can store like real keys for your house and stuff. You know, Salto will be integrated, and it would be great to understand deeply and what's the value for us. You know, we are in the tech stack. You know, we use partners also which are not on Cardano, and we would love always to support the projects on Cardano because I think as the majority of blockchain enthusiasts don't look too much on Cardano, we have a brilliant technology, and to get strong together is something we would really love to do, Esteban. And you know, we have been in touch with Dennis, I think several times. You know, and yes, just drop us an email and invite us to explore what we can do together. You know, I'm not the right guy. I can say yes, we prefer more Cardano projects than anything else. But you know already also Dennis, and yeah, tell him please use our technology, and finally they will come to me. Should we do it? I looked at the cost, and you know, it's the business side. Say yes, okay, let's go. So please, or I will send you an email. I'm the salesman. Then I'll send you an email again, Esteban, and let's get in touch and see if we can move forward, because we have the clients and perhaps you have a better technology than we have. And I think in Cardano interest, it's always to deliver the best product possible.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's good to reach out again and reconnect, because but you guys were involved with the Tala Prism quite a few months ago. But what was a Tala Prism before and what is Hyperledger Identus now is completely and radically other thing. I think we have now a better proposition in the core technology. So yeah,
it
will
was
be good
very
to...
expensive back in the days for us. I think the first offer was already 150,000 USD. And that's for us, we said, okay, let's build something. We can't afford it. And that was the very a decision we had to do because of liquidity. So it's always, business and tech side, they have to shake hands and try to understand how we can get things done,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We have a mission accomplished. We brought people together talking about the things, and you take it from there. And then maybe one day we can maybe in one of the next sessions, whenever you have a technical partner on board, Tim, maybe we can uncover Ada Mail, because I would be really interested. For me, it is I don't understand the technology in that part where I would say I want to connect NFTs to my emails. So maybe that
the NFT is a login. It's not rocket science what we built. We played around and we found out, hey, let's integrate. It's existing email platform in like open source. Everybody can build on it, and we just say, okay, the NFT as a login would be nice. And Dennis explored more and more we had the problem how to connect the dApp with SPOs. How can we make contact really anonymous? And this is how we explored this. And I don't like to forget Patrick here from NMaker. He was, also. We reached out to him and say, hey, Patrick, we need NFTs. It's called adamail.me. Please do it. He said, guys, what you doing? It's a mail program. Look what I built here. Or he was, just starting with this idea. It was exactly the same idea. Just Dennis was 2 months ahead. And then we said, hey, Patrick, before we have another contributor as in a friend, let's do it together. And so NMaker has 30% share internally of these Adamail. So we always share, we always like to do things together. And I think sharing is caring. We have to do it together to make Cardano really, really powerful.
Cool. Maybe that explains a few more things then. Thank you. Maybe you will have...
That was easy, huh? That was not even technical.
There you go. Maybe then the unencreds, so anonymous credentials, and the DIDCOM would be an additional stack that you could add and have a look at from Identus. I think that's something that could be worth it.
We would do it directly, because with Adamail it's one experience, and we hope that people ask us, can we do this and this, But we got a lot of bad critique from Ethereum, from Ethermail, that we stole the concept, but we don't have a token. We don't have anything which looks like a cash grab. We even have free passes. We like that people explore this possibility, because I cut it a little bit, because our roadmap, is pushing us to realize the core business, which is really KYC stuff where we earn a little bit money finally. So the Catalyst proposal last year helped us. I hope this year it will also help us to finance the team. And we are very open to give Adamail out to people that they can explore and interact with Dennis. So that is not even a yes or no. Just connect Dennis, and he will open every door to integrate whatever you like to integrate, if it's something which brings value to Cardano and this small project. We have also, perhaps this is interesting, we have like every crypto mail blocked already. So we have Sol, Mail, Me, Isa emailed me, that he was very, not very polite to us, but, we just showed him that we do something different and that Ethereum has different possibilities. I think there you can really show with other mail that Cardano is superior. It's much easier. And gas fees and all this stuff, it's very nice, especially with the payment links. I don't like to ask my mom, "Dear mom, it's a payment link, please send me some ADA." And finally, the gas fees are higher than the money she sent. So we always develop tools for people like my mom, or people like me who are really not technical. It has to help me. I like to have it very convenient. And this is also the philosophy we have at IamX, that we build for people who are not deep into crypto.
Good one. Good statement. And good closing line, I would say. If there aren't any questions, I would say we can wrap up. Davide, what do you say? You're muted.
Yes, I noticed. Yeah, probably should indeed wrap it up because we are 20 minutes after our scheduled time. Well, it was an amazing conversation, I think. We clarified a lot of stuff. I still have a couple of questions, but I think we can take them for the next time so that we can have you guys joining us again very soon.
Cool. And for everybody who wants to read more about the projects, we will have the links below on the side, on the right, wherever they are currently with the new YouTube design. And thank you everybody for being here. Hope to see you again and enjoy your evening and your day. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Markus.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mark.
Ciao,
Thank you all.
David.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.